Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United pod. I'm your host, TC. Back alongside me tonight is co-host Scott. How you doing, pal?
Well, after a 3-1 win, you can't be that bad, can you, TC?
Time to return to perfection, haven't you?
Well, let's not say perfection, but certainly improving.
Your timing was perfection. The performance
timing,
maybe not, right?
Okay, yeah,
Yes. You've been all right, mate. You've been keeping well.
Yeah, very busy, but keeping well. How about yourself?
All good, mate. Yeah, we've been we had ups and downs, haven't we, with United, and as you know, mate, jumping on after a loss or a draw is always tricky. But it's been more recently the reaction to the negative displays that I've been wound up by. But yeah, I've been all right, mate. You know me.
Yeah, I had to watch the Villa away game on my phone while I was driving, and I popped in somewhere for a quick pee. Came out and it was 2-2 after going in when it's 2-0.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I was furious.
Yes, I'm sure you were, pal.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that was horrific. But look, mate, we are back to more positive times. So let's get stuck in to this latest Manchester United win, 3-1 away on the road at Brentford. Took the lead 3-0, didn't we? We were pegged back to 3-1. Managed to not fall apart as we did in the previous game, and feels very good to get those 3 points, close that gap to the top 4, top 3 as well, and yeah, just take another step in the right direction, and just quiet a bit of this negativity, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, TC, the scoreline probably flattered us, especially at half-time. If you said at half-time one team was going to win 3-1, I wouldn't have thought it was going to be us. Yeah. But yeah, there's certain things that need to be turned around. I mean, all this heat on Marcus Rashford's pretty unbelievable. So to get him on the score sheet was great. And yeah, we just need a good bit of momentum. But I think that there are still huge cracks there, pal. And I don't know how we're gonna get over them.
Well, yeah, the Rashford thing's funny, isn't it? Because we've mentioned this for months and months and months. A long, long time ago. So long ago, we've stopped talking about it. Like, we think everyone's talked about it already. And then what happens is one pundit makes a comment, and then before you know it, everybody else follows suit, and the papers are picking up on it. Other pundits are jumping on it. This is old news.
It's not. It's when the Stretford End calls you out on it, pal. I mean, at the weekend, whenever it was, when he failed to sort of get on that rebound from a Mason shot, and the effort wasn't really there, and the Stretford End turned on him. You can't deny that. So it's, you hear all this noise from pundits.
Fans follow the papers too.
Yeah, but Marcus Rashford is almost, we'll defend him with every ounce of breath that we have. But when you don't think he's putting in the effort that he's always put in, it's easy to see.
It's been a long time though, Scott, hasn't it? It's been a long, long time since his face, It's just for some reason he turned from this chirpy, happy, seemingly sort of energetic lad to looking like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and just not smiling and not being too overjoyed when he scored, not being too upset when he missed a chance. And it's been a long time. So I'm not surprised. Look, if you're not putting in the effort, then that's one thing that I think the fans are justified in criticising, personally.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, but
You do.
Earlier you were saying when opposition, or when pundits and what have you, they start criticising you. I mean, United get criticism from every. But look how much criticism Ronaldo's getting, and he's our top scorer. Yeah. But when the Stretford End,
I mean, look at Ralf. I've never known anything like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a witch hunt.
He's lost one game.
It's a witch hunt.
Literally lost one game, and it's like, you can see the papers, the narrative they're trying to paint, any little thing. And Ralf has got to get a little bit cuter in with some of the things he did today. He did some things very well today. There's some tricky moments that he dealt with very well. But the papers, it's mental. The thing is, Scott, no matter what you think of him, we've only got him for 4 more months, right? So this over the top hyperbole is absolutely nonsense. It's just, once again, United get clicks and clicks get money, and that's the way it goes. But yeah, it's all over the top. That has been for years.
Yeah, but you have to go back to what Roy Keane said years ago after Mourinho, when he said that it's these players, and these players are going to do the same thing to Ollie that they did to Mourinho, and then it'll just follow suit. And when so many of those players are still in the squad. It's hard to, he can bring in as much philosophy and as much ethos as he wants, but when he doesn't have the players to actually carry out the job, he's got his hands tied behind his back.
Yeah, and of course, Ralf is inheriting problems. We know that, and the biggest one, and it's still evident every time we play, is that midfield. It's crackers, right?
I thought you were going to say defence. It's weird.
No, because when Maguire plays for England, he's everyone's singing from the rooftops. He's blooming brilliant, right? And then he's getting to the Euros final and all the rest of it. No problems. Luke Shaw, blooming left back of the tournament. Varane, no problems at all. Lindelof, Swedish captain, isn't he? Wan-Bissaka when he played for Palace. I think it's us, mate. I think it's the structure of the team.
But you just mentioned there, right? Like before Ralf came in, our back four was, fully fit back four was Shaw, Maguire, Varane, and then Wan-Bissaka. And now he's come in and it's Tellez, Varane, point, Lindelof, and
then you can't say that Roy Keane's right, because he's not, because we've got different players. The players that let Ollie down were not the same players that let Jose Mourinho down. Ollie bought half of them.
There's a few that I can maybe point a few fingers at, and Definitely. They weren't playing tonight. I don't even think one of them was on the bench.
Martial was.
No, I know, but the other one wasn't that I'm thinking of. He's about to go to Newcastle.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like basically it's a short-term appointment. And all of this over-the-top reaction. And as I say, we've only lost one game. Performances haven't been great, but I'll keep on saying it, the amount we were losing by before the turn of results, it's night and day. The difference between the results then and the results now, it is as good as we could possibly have hoped for, results-wise, not performance.
I completely agree. And you also have to look at the fact that he came in, tried a tactic, it hasn't worked for a few months, so now he's trying something else, and it is... the foundations look like it's actually working. So his ability to change and move with the times is maybe a bit different to our predecessor as well, who would sort of hammer out the same thing week after week against big teams. Would just play three at the back. But you got to say, pal, that that back four, three of those players are different players now. And who would have thought that after last year, how good he was, or how revered Maguire was, that those two would be out of the starting lineup, him and Luke Shaw.
Yeah. I mean, we did talk a lot, didn't we? We talked when Deleuze was at AC Milan, we couldn't get our heads around it. We didn't understand how we've got no backup at right back, and we've got this decent guy who's out on loan at AC Milan for the year, not even sold.
Yep.
And we couldn't get our heads around why Tellez didn't sometimes get a run, because we know Shaw invariably runs himself into the ground. It always happens. When he goes on a good run, it ends up him running himself into the ground, plays every game. So, these options have been there, though, haven't they?
They have.
So,
but it's a huge ballsy decision to take your £80 million defender and take him out. So I'm really glad that Ralph's done that too. In fact, those three are combined, £150 million worth of defender?
Yeah.
And he's taken them all out. So that takes huge balls.
Yeah, so it's actually 160, Scott. So an extra 10 on that.
You must have rounded up.
yeah. But it didn't take a rocket scientist to work out Shaw might be in trouble, because Rangnick, when he was asked about United in 2020, I think it was, he said that he's not sure Shaw is up to the level that United should have, and that you can watch the video. So it's not a quote from a newspaper. You can actually watch that. So he wasn't a fan before he came to the club.
I've been saying I don't think Maguire's the level of United for a long time. Certainly not the captain.
I would say, Scott, that and I do agree with that. I would say I've been thinking about this because lots of people around me are always slagging off Maguire, and I'm genuinely late on the pull. And I think part of it is just my instinct to protect the United captain. I think that you know what I mean? I just think that, and it's probably a historical thing that the United captain's always actually pretty much never let me down, right? And when he has, I stand by him.
But you and I defend our players to a fault, to a certain degree,
So I think it's that. I don't think he should be United captain, but then when he is United captain, it was probably the same when Valencia was playing right back and he was skipper and whatnot. I didn't think he should be captain, but at the same time, I would always be a bit more lenient on the United captain because I want us to succeed, and I suppose the captain is the leader of that. No matter who the coach chooses, they are that leader. So I think that possibly is why I'm a bit slow on the Paul. But I don't think it's finished for him either. I do think there is a chance for him to bounce back as well. But I do think it's right for him to be out of the team at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'd say that. But look, let's look at the lineup here, Scott. David De Gea in goal, Dalot, as we said, and Tellez at fullback, and Varane alongside Lindelof there at the back. So Maguire on the bench, along with the two keepers. And then we had McTominay and Fred ahead of them, Bruno, and then up top we had Elanga, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Mason Greenwood. So quite a tasty lineup, and quite nice to see players being rewarded for their performances. Anthony Elanga, you wouldn't say he's in the first 11 if you chose on reputation and all the rest of it. He's in. Victor Lindelof as well. He's in. Those fullbacks we talked about, they're in. So I think that's another big positive move in the right direction. As you said, the switch of formation, but also the willingness to say Anthony Elanga at the moment is more of a weapon than Marcus Rashford. So he starts.
Yeah, completely agree. And it has to show, the effort levels that he sees in training and the desire level to. I can. And against Villa, he was at least from what I could see, he was probably our best threat going forward, apart from Bruno, of course.
Yeah.
So he's actually warranting this decision as well. But it's the same thing that we saw with Rashford 6 years ago. A young kid comes in, got the hunger to prove himself, and it's the Man United way, isn't it?
It is indeed, Scott. And look, Brentford started sharply. They were hungry and they were at it, as you'd expect as well. It's a massive day for them. They're back in the Premier League, and Manchester United coming to town as well. So there was definitely a bit of bite in their play early on, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. It was a very nervous start to the game for us.
Yes. But in the 4th minute, Fred strongly won in midfield. Again, it became a bit of a habit during the match. Dalot out on the right. Very sloppy cross, wasn't it? Very deep, very loose. If you're going to be an attacking fullback, you need to make sure your percentage crosses are a little bit better than that, because that's very loose.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, and but as I say, it was pretty much, I would say, Brentford probably dominated the early stages. We were there or thereabouts, but again, we don't come out of the traps, do we, Scott?
We don't. No,
There's just something. There's something that these players have learned somewhere along the line. There's some habit that we can't shake. It's incredible how it's a just recurring nightmare for us.
Well, I mean, it might hark back to the fact that we went into so many games not being tactically prepared properly, and sort of see how the other team are going to play, and see how we counter that, and it just creates bad habits.
Yeah, we played on the back foot for too long, haven't we?
I think so, and it just takes us. The fact that a week ago we scored the earliest goal that we had in the Premier League, and before that we hadn't scored until the 29th minute.
Crazy.
It was crackers. I can't remember the goal.
I talked about it, didn't I, in the Ollie years many times, about us shortening the game and basically giving ourselves a lesser chance against lesser teams. Look, at the 8th minute, I had to have a chuckle, Scott. The Brentford fans were singing "You Only Live Round the Corner." I literally did live round the corner from Brentford's ground growing up. So yeah, that did give me a chuckle. I almost drowned in Brentford Leisure Centre, which is even big time. I was trying. I was only little. I was trying to go up as far as I could into the deep end, and only my nose was sticking out. And then they whacked on the wave machine, the buggers, and it took me right under. And luckily, a very strong lady, let's say it like that, whisked me out and saved my life, actually. So there you go. Very nice. So almost died in Brentford once, Scott.
Well, what a great story. What a great story. That sounds like an episode of Mr. Bean, pal. It really does. Brentford Leisure Centre. Yeah.
Or Mr. Britas, the Britas Empire. Remember that
something
one?
Like that, yeah. Yeah. Was he that clumsy? I don't know.
Yeah, and then I sat and had a jacket potato.
I tell you, what a
Didn't
way
want
to
back
go.
in.
Killed by the wave machine at Brentford Leisure
Oh,
Centre.
mate, literally.
Shameful.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear me. Washed up with a snot. Unbelievable. It literally is around the corner. So it was nice, actually. It's the closest United ever could play to where I grew up. So we took, there was, Elanga had a poor cross, poor cross header, wasn't it? Caused absolute mayhem, though. Keeper almost chucked it in. Defender almost headed it in. We almost got the rebound, but it was a very badly directed header.
I don't know what it was, but there were a few of those situations tonight. Obviously, they scored from one of them, but there are a few of those old school goal line scrambles they used to call them.
Yeah. We took control a little bit there, but we were lacking penetration severely. And then, as if by magic, in a flash on the 13th, Brentford were in on goal. The goal was gaping as well. This was top keeping from David De Gea. I actually thought that some of his saves in the last matches were pretty basic, and that if he had let any of those in, they would have been bad. But today, he made some fantastic saves.
Yeah,
and that left foot. I mean, the biggest thing, Scott, is when the guy was bearing down on goal, I thought this is 99% goal here. But Dave waited. He phased him basically, didn't he? And then got that left foot out, and Lindelof was in there to block the rebound too.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly back to his best.
Yes, he is.
Really is.
He is. Yeah. And there was almost an avalanche of Brentford chances then, wasn't there? It was just seemed like one every 20 seconds for a little while. And then Fred had a nice run from midfield. And then what do you think of that on the 22nd minute, Scott, when Fred had a header uncontested, really, and Janssen basically just nutted him, but it basically headed Fred in the back of the head, nowhere near the ball. That's got to be a foul, hasn't it? Dangerous play.
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't a foul. Yeah, it was.
It's weird.
It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and Delo, God, he whizzed 1 inches past the top corner, didn't he? From it didn't seem like anything was on whatsoever. 25 yards, bending away, but it wasn't far away from that top corner.
Yeah, certainly looked better on the first, from the main angle. But then,
right.
you could see it was quite a few inches.
You're right. I did notice today that at times Delo slipped in as that second number 10 alongside Bruno. Did you notice that? Where he was really slipping into that pocket, like the way you see the Chelsea fullbacks and the Liverpool whatever he's called, slipping into that number 10 position.
Yeah,
I saw Delo picking up those positions a little bit more. I don't know if it's something that Ralf has advised him to do, or
it makes sense, right? Because I mean, Ralph's previous attempt with the 4-2-2-2. I mean, he wants to play two number 10s so to come in. So presumably the fullbacks would overlap them. But now when he wants to have two wingers playing wide, they'd probably come inside. Yeah,
because it was Greenwood that was providing that width, and Delo was very obviously tucking in there. So that
he does make some pretty defensive clangers, though, doesn't he? He loses the ball very not very often, but very easily.
You know what I'd say? I'd say that Wan-Bissaka one-on-one is tremendous, and Delo is he's there for the
one-on-one defensively,
big time there for the taking.
Not offensively.
Attacking the opposite. In terms of sort of the sniffing of danger, getting into positions, I think Delo's got it on Wan-Bissaka big time, by a long way actually.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka's positioning is poor.
I would say they're both bad defensive fullbacks actually, ultimately. Because Delo, of course, getting skinned, and Wan-Bissaka just being all at sea and never getting skinned. But of course, Delo gives so much more going forward. So it's.
And I think Ronaldo really tells Delo, listen, and you just got to give me the ball, right? Yeah. And Delo tries as hard as if you look every time he gets it, he looks, where's Ronaldo? Let's see if I can give it. Yes, so I think Delo may be in the team to give Ronaldo more service.
Yeah, but we said, didn't we? If you're a defensive fullback and you're making that many defensive mistakes, it just can't last. Something's got to give in the end. Delo's an attacking fullback. If you make some mistakes, so be it. But at least we're getting something going forward.
And also, if Ronaldo is in your team, that should be your tactic. Your number one tactic: get him the ball.
Yeah. We had a sweeping Brentford counter-attack after the half hour, and De Gea again with his feet. It was another great save. It really was great keeping. The rebound was almost turned in by Varane, wasn't it? When it came across, I thought he might have popped it in, and then I thought he'd come back off the post, but it hit the stanchion. But another really, really good save by David De Gea. I would say those two were, they were golden chances for Brentford.
I mean, he somehow manages on a one-on-one to cover both corners, doesn't he?
He just waits and waits, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It looks like he's wrong-footed, but then he throws his leg out, and it's just as good a save.
And it is his confidence and ability to use his feet that allows him to cover that much. Mm-hmm. Because if you are not going to use your feet, or you don't really want to, you have to bite, don't you? Whereas with Dave, he doesn't.
Well, it's like Schmeichel used to go out and do that Starman jump.
Yeah, the old starfish, the old it was a handball move, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think De Gea sort of does the same, but it's just a bit of a slide. It's like a sliding long barrier.
Yeah, like a long gate from cricket.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about cricket.
No, let's not.
And then 3 minutes later, unfortunately, David De Gea, he dropped a looping ball into the box. I thought we were back in 2012. I was calling for a foul. I was hoping for a foul. I'm not sure there was one.
Yeah. Unbelievable now. 10 years.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? Yeah. 10 years, yeah. And to think that Dave was around when we last won when we last won the title.
Then it feels like 20.
It's almost surreal to think, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It really
it's so long ago. It feels like a lifetime ago.
It really does.
Yeah.
I miss Fergie so much, mate, honestly. I'm not joking. Honestly, quite regularly, I put on some old highlights of Fergie and put it on some of my favourite music. A compilation, but I put my own music over it and choke back the tears a little bit and then get on with my day. So, yeah, it's a regular occurrence.
You go back to just that title-winning team of 2013. How many of that team would you beg, borrow and steal to put in this team? Not even mentioning old school Scalzi and Giggsy, but imagine having RVP back up front.
Oh,
how much we undervalued him.
Yeah. Well. I mean, we bloody loved him, didn't we? But yeah, it seems a long time ago now, and well, it is now as well, Scott. We need to pull our fingers out big time. Yeah. But yeah, that first half, Scott, we were second best to say the least.
Shocking, yeah. And at half time, as I said, if you told me what a team was going to win 3-1, I wouldn't have thought it was going to be us.
Yeah, I know. I mean, my pre-match prediction was 4-0, so I was looking pretty good at 3-0. At half time, I was looking like lost without a trace.
Again.
Pretty much 4-0 every week, isn't it? I'll get it right one day. But yeah, we were not great at all. It was strange. It wasn't like some games we've seen where we get totally overrun. But when we did get overrun, it seemed like never ending. I just don't know how, Scott, we concede one chance and then inevitably we're going to concede 3 or 4 in the next 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's like a domino effect, and it happens again and again. And it's just, and of course the players are probably thinking as well. So they're waiting for it. We're waiting for it. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and it's usually self-inflicted as well. We usually, get ourselves into these, you're right, into these minutes that we concede 3 corners and we just can't get out of it. Yeah,
and it's like, and we can't even do the simplest header clear. Like, we head it up in the air and then the next guy swings a foot at it. It's just, Keystone Cops.
No.
Yep. Crazy, mate. But look, we got in at half time and we do have to remember as well, we've seen this many, many times before. I'm crowing about Fergie, rolling back the years. There was many times we went away in the Premier League, even against promoted sides. We struggle in the first half. You think, blooming hell, what are they doing? They should be running all over these guys. Second half, you cut loose. That's what you do, right? The problem is when you don't cut loose. Or the problem is when you half cut loose and then think you've got it done. You think you're a big team again. You're 1 or 2-0 up. You take your foot off the pedal, and chuck the game away. This today, I can forget that first half. I can forget it, no problems, because we did what big teams should do: put the foot on the pedal and get it done.
Yeah, but there's against a better team or just a team with better strikers, we would have lost today. Again,
yes.
We give up such huge chances, and again against better finishers, we would have been 2-3 down at half time.
I totally agree, and I'm not saying the performance was anywhere near what I expect, but you have to look at the other teams in the Premier League. Chelsea dropped points again last night, and teams are dropping points, and we've come from a place where we were getting smashed, Scott. We were getting absolutely, and we were getting overrun, and we're getting overrun for 60, 70 minutes of the game. It was so bad that
even though we, the scoreline was favorable for us today, you can't really say that there was huge parts of the game that we dominated.
No.
And that's what I miss. I miss controlling games, even if you only win 1-0. You don't give them a sniff. You got 60-70% possession. You just control the game. We haven't controlled a game in a long time.
You're right, but do you expect to with the midfielders we have? I mean, we're obviously
but that's another good point. Is that we're 20 days into the transfer window here, and we haven't really even been sniffing at anyone. We got a guy, Haidara, who's away at the African. I don't even know if he's going to be back in time that he could sign. But Rangnick's I've got to feel like got to come in here, and they're not even backing me with anything.
Yeah, definitely. I've been thinking that as well. The window's open, and we're not even a rumour. And you hear Chelsea are knocking on Barcelona's door for Frankie de Jong.
Yeah,
and they've
50 million quid he's available for.
They've gone back in for another one of their good midfielders as well, because of course they're in turmoil. Yeah, 30 or 40 million.
Yeah.
We should be all over that. But it's with that midfield, Scott, we're not going to control games. We're just simply not. So it's a step in the right direction. I think we are going in the right direction. I don't expect us to turn it all round straight away. And look, at halftime, as always, put in direction of our friends over at vintageunitedshirts.com. Actually got a cool little new competition coming up as well. So as you know, you can always grab your vintage shirts from Vintage United, your classic 90s, your classic noughties, all the classic players with the original fonts, original shirts. So you can go over there, use the promo code United100, 10% discount on all the shirts, shorts, socks and whatnot. And new competition, what we're doing is that they've of course got their new artwork. So Icons 100, get 20% discount on the artwork there. But what we're asking is, what United moment would you like to turn into artwork? So send it in to me. You can DM me on Instagram. You can send me an email, united100podcast@gmail.com, however you want. And just tell me which moment, right? So the player, the moment, whatever else. And there will be, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe there's going to be 4 winners. Okay, so they'll each get an artwork of their choice, and then your choice will be turned into artwork that other people can then get their mitts on. So, who would you choose, Scott? What moment? What's your best United moment?
Got to be Moisey in the Charity Shield.
Oh, here we go. God. Get him off. Well, I know you've already got Ollie up in your house if you haven't taken it down.
You know what I'd like?
Eminem style.
It might be Giggsy twirling his shirt over his head after the Arsenal goal.
You had left, hadn't you?
No, not then. I was there. But it might be Scholesy when he scored away at Inter Milan, and he was standing in front of that huge stand, all the Inter Milan fans. And he was giving it the large. I like that. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes.
What about you?
Oh, God, I mean, it's like that is a hard choice, isn't it, mate?
Kung Fu Kick, bit of you, wasn't it?
It was a bit of me.
Yeah,
it was indeed. Listened to it on the radio, celebrated it on the radio. I didn't know he was going to get banned, did I? Oh God, it's just countless, isn't there? There is countless. So, look, have a look, have a think. Send me them in, and then on the next pod I'll give you the exact details. But your artwork will be turned in, so we will see. You know what, Scott? There is just so many memories coming to my mind now.
Give me one.
Yeah. Give you one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and think of a quirky one for you.
Moisey in the Charity Shield.
You know what I would like. I'd like Forlan running back with his shirt off.
That's with his shirt inside out when he was trying to put it back on?
Yeah, big time. Made the tackle in it. I loved that. I love Diego Forlan.
Yeah,
absolutely. That.
If you could put one United fan, an image of a fan, I would have loved to see your face at Chelsea that day when you realised Fernando Torres hadn't been sent off.
Had been sent off. Yeah, yeah.
Had been sent off.
Yeah, absolutely. No, in all seriousness, I do love the Forlan moment against Chelsea, but I know it's not a big popular one, so it's never going to win. So let me go for something else. I will go for. It is tricky, Scott.
Not really. I gave you 2 like that.
Well, I've got loads. Van Persie hugging Fergie at Stoke. That was a good one.
All right.
Absolutely loved that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
There's so many. I'm trying to avoid the obvious ones.
Of Chicharito's back header. That was a good picture.
That was lovely.
Yeah. What about John O'Shea's face when he chipped Seaman? Was it Seaman or Lehman?
It wasn't Seaman. God, I lied.
What was it? 2005?
It was Almunia.
That was pretty close to being Seaman.
There is just so many memories you could give. I mean, you know what? If I actually had to choose one, it would probably be Cantona's volley against Arsenal at Old Trafford.
All right.
So him mid-air after chesting and volleying. I think it'd probably be that. It's one of my favourite United goals. And it just encapsulates Eric's majesty. The way he took flight to take the shot, crossbar and in UBUT. That was against Seaman.
All right, yeah. That's a good one.
There you go. So let me know yours, all right? I know there's going to be plenty of duplicates, but the winners will be chosen and you will get that artwork that you choose. So whichever one you choose, that's the one you'll win. If you want to get involved, become a member of the 100% United podcast, get over to patreon.com/United100. There's different tiers on there. You get involved in the Discord chat, which was pretty entertaining today, I must say. We were talking about a rope-a-dope in the first half. People suggesting we're trying to wear them out. And I, of course, made my 4-0 prediction. So you get all those little all those little beauties on there. I think Amir got it right, 3-1 today. So he got the prediction right on there on Discord. So it was pretty lively. It was happy. It was a happy place today during the match. It was very nice. So patreon.com/United100. And look, Scott, we came out second half and Ronaldo hit the bar, didn't he, with a header that was never going in. But yeah, at least we were probing from the start.
Probably would have been offside if it did go in.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. But we came out with a bit more intent, didn't we?
But hey, we almost had a shot on goal. At 50 minutes in, we almost had a shot on goal.
Yes.
Target, sorry. Yeah.
But we started more positively, didn't we?
Yeah. It wasn't difficult to do, but yeah.
No, it's the old.
Come on, it's amazing how our standards have dropped, pal. This is Brentford away, and we're even the few days before, I'm dreading Brentford away because you're just thinking here's another opportunity for us to get smashed and for another team to have the biggest day, their best day ever, and at our expense. It's just amazing how our standards have dropped. City went there a few weeks ago and one completely controlled the game and won comfortably.
Yes, I mean, of course our standards have dropped, but I mean, we can't expect it to be all. I mean, we can't expect to be winning 10 games in a trot now, right?
I know, but every so often you take a step back and you're just like, bloody hell.
Yeah. You know what? I do worry that we're part of the problem. I mean, not me and you, but the fans. I think we're so soft these days. We're so reactive. It's like, it's a new manager. He's temporary, and it's just like it's all a disaster again within weeks. And it's not even been that bad. I mean, we haven't been great, but it's not been that bad at all. And I just want to hope for the future. So I want to build for the future, and I just worry that this hysterical reaction to everything. We used to laugh at the press. We used to say, they're obviously trying to get Fergie, say Fergie's, doing this, that, and the other. We don't believe him. These days, the fans lap it up, and before you know it, Ralph's a clown after a few weeks when he's only lost one game. Yeah,
but he hasn't won most of them. And when you looked at the, you looked at the fixture list when he came in.
Losing 5-0 before, Scott.
I know, but
that's
we're still going to Villa and 2-0 up, and we can't.
But that was much better, wasn't it? That was, for 75 minutes, we did control that game.
Yeah.
So I do see signs, Scott. I think we're controlling parts of games. We scored 3 goals today. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do but be positive here. We've got 5 months to the end of the season. Interim manager. Yeah, and we still got the Champions League, Scott. We still got the Champions League.
Yeah, you're right.
You
You're
never
right.
know.
It's like when you step in a big pile of dog feces and you manage to rinse all of it off your shoe, but every now and then you get a whiff again. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, right, the shoe's clean, it looks good, but every now and then you get a whiff, and you know you've said that you know what's been on your shoe.
What are you saying? We need a new pair of shoes.
Oh yeah, I
Only
don't know.
solution, isn't it?
I don't know. So I'm just sitting there looking at my dog and just trying to think of an analogy. And I know things are improving, but
Your analogies aren't.
No, but they've always been shocking. I think that one could hold a bit of water, but it just you know what it is. It's the frustration as well that we had to go as far as we did down for us to come back. You know what I mean?
This is what I've been saying to Ben, Scott, that I do believe that we are still suffering those scars as well. You don't need to be laughed at that much. You don't need to become such a blooming circus as we did. Those extra weeks were shocking. You know what, Scott, actually, it's something I didn't intend to mention, but just popped into my head. Don't you think it's a bit weird that we've got a new CEO, right? And there's just nothing, right? No interview.
Have we though? Because I thought it was February 1st.
Yeah, but I mean, do you not think United should... Well, but yeah, they've announced
Which is crazy because Woodward's like, just let me get one more transfer window.
Yeah.
Not going to do anything, but just give me one more.
But my personal opinion is that we need to wake up and realise that the world has changed, and that to be a leading modern football club, the way to do it is to be open. Is to be connected with the fans, to actually give us stuff. I mean, the Glazers. They were talking about being, in constant contact with the fans, weren't they? They did one measly fan forum. We haven't had a stink out of them since.
And that's where the crux of all of our problems come from, is the owners of our club are rotten. And now everything just stems down from that.
But
until we get rid of them...
We've got a new CEO, and instead of the vision and the a new wave of positivity coming through the club, it's almost like we want to do everything in secret because we know what we do is a bit shady and sneaky. So everything is like cloak and dagger, instead of just being like, right, this is us, this is where we're going, and this is how we're going to do it. So, yeah, I really think we need to make it even more of a shift, a cultural shift away. Okay. And actually, we always hark back to going back to trying to be, the United way, United culture and stuff. I've been thinking a lot, Scott. If you look at when we've won our trophies, United have won the vast majority of our trophies in very short periods of time. Fergie's a long period, but it's the same blooming boss, right? But they're very compact. We have a history of basically going missing for years on end. So maybe we do need to change. Maybe the United way is great, but there's a lot of improvement we can make to it to make it even blooming better. Yeah,
but then we went 26 years without winning a league title between Busby and Fergie, and we're almost halfway there now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Scott.
Yeah.
Right? And you look at all those, and actually, well, we were winning the European Cup and the league, and then suddenly 26 years, nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, nothing's going to happen from the top until the Glazers get out, and that's things have got to get pretty bad for them to want to jump ship, because they're still picking up their dividends.
Well, it's definitely possible, definitely 100% possible to win with the Glazers, because I've seen it happen. I've seen some of the best days of my life, so I know it can happen. So I hate it, but we can still be the best team in the world with the Glazers at the helm. That is possible. So, I'm looking below them. I don't see a way. I don't have the cash, unfortunately, Scott. So I'm looking below them and saying, okay. And I do see signs that we're changing the culture of the club a little bit. I just think we can go further. And Scott, it all comes down to the manager. It all comes down to who we choose. And that's what makes or breaks a football club. It really does. Look at our rivals. There's no rocket science behind it. It's you just get the best manager.
Yeah, but I mean, look at City. They get the best manager, and they also get £250 million to spend every couple of years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not just a manager. These managers are spending huge amounts of money.
You're right. Well. Every City manager has won the league, haven't they? since Mancini.
What?
No, as every City manager has won the league, haven't they? Since
Did Pellegrini
Mancini
win it? He did, didn't
You
he?
what?
Pellegrini won it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Every manager, yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. They have all won it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the best managers in the world win the biggest things.
No, I know, but I can't stand some of the praise that Klopp and Guardiola get when people forget how much money they've actually spent.
Yeah, but we spent loads too.
I know we have, but
So,
they've been rubbish. So.
And we can take the Conte was there for us, Tuchel was there for us as well, but we weren't interested. So I hope we choose well. I was hearing Simone Inzaghi being flagged up the other day, Scott. I was thinking we're waiting a season for Simone Inzaghi.
Unbelievable. I think top of the list is probably Pochettino, but you're right. Could you, are his shoulders big enough for this weight? Can you really?
For Pochettino, Scott, I will give you Jadon Sancho. Pochettino was the manager that when you were crowing for it, that was the time. He was ripe, he was fresh, he was ready, his confidence was high, it was perfect. Sancho the same, a year before we did sign him. The problem is if you sign that person who previously might have been perfect. I was never as sold as you on Pochettino, but you wait and look at Sancho now. You get half the man, and that's what I worry about. I don't think you're getting the same man after being chewed up and spat out by PSG.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think so. But look, let's get back to the game because we had some nice things to chat about again. Fred clipped another one in. That in-swinger is his trademark cross now. This was a little bit tighter. He was further in. Elanga controlled and headed home, didn't he? So I think that was it. What is he? That's his second header for United already.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Head boy. Unbelievable. And look, the way he took it was sensational, wasn't it?
It really was. The passion, the desire to get on the end of that. And it was certainly a well-timed goal as well because we really needed it.
We did. And I like Elanga a lot. I like his attitude. I loved his interview after the game when he said that, I think my goal really gave the team a lift, which I thought was great. Just have the confidence. Why not? And him saying that he's been working hard in training. This is what he's been worked for all his life.
Yeah.
And, he really appreciates the boss and he's putting in the work. He's getting his reward, but it's only the beginning. I'm only just getting started. It was music to my ears. So, yeah, he got his goal. He's performed well. His attitude's top notch, and he spoke very well as well. So yeah, well played.
And he's
Anthony
talented.
Elanga.
Bloody hell! I mean, his touch is unbelievable. His speed. He might be the quickest one at the team now.
He is. He's rapid, isn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, look. So we took the lead, and that really helped us, didn't it? It really helped us settle down. Gave us that sort of. Brentford had to regather themselves, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and then 7 minutes after the first, it was McTominay this time. Won the ball in midfield, kicked off the move that led to our second. Outrageous chest from Ronaldo, set Bruno clear. Bruno, Greenwood just stayed on side. God, there was inches in it, Scott. Centimetres, millimetres to tap home with his right. And United had a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, unbelievable counter-attack.
Wasn't it great? And Bruno looks back to his animalistic best.
Yeah, he does. He does that extra yard of pace because you think, God, Bruno's got 40 yards to run here. But he just kept going, didn't get caught, couldn't believe it.
I always used to say that Wayne Rooney can run faster than he actually can. And I know it's a clumsy way to say it, but what I meant was that when the ball was there to be chased or when a goal was there to be made, he could run faster than his top speed normally. Mm-hmm. And I think Bruno's got a bit of that too.
Yeah, the desire pushes him, gives him another.
Yeah, that special gear, that goal gear. Yeah. But yeah, it was, and that chest from Ronaldo, got turbo chest.
Yeah. Yeah, he did one with his arse a few years ago. Do you remember that?
And he scored with his knob years ago, as you say too.
Yeah. Great goal, that.
It was.
Is that a header?
Indeed. You what?
Is that a header?
It depends, right? We'll have to take an X-ray of that one. But yeah, or not. But yeah, it was great. And great to see Mason Greenwood get a goal as well because the other parts of his game have been coming on. And it's the goals that have been taking a back seat. But with Mason Greenwood, you always know the goals are there. You're never worried when he goes for a mini drought. And he gets his goal too. And yeah, as I say, McTominay winning the ball in midfield to kick off that move as well. It felt blooming good to see that one go in.
It did, and it felt blooming good to see Ronaldo actually gather everyone in the celebration, say, right, let's not let this lead slip.
Exactly, Scott.
Yeah.
Ronaldo giving it a big one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. He was, and that's
Yes.
what we need. That's what we need.
Yes.
That shows leadership, and even if he doesn't have the captain's armband, he's still playing as though he is the captain. And
Yes.
yeah, it was great to see.
Yes, absolutely. And I thought probably Ronaldo should have been the one who was given the captaincy. That was my suggestion. But I totally get the Bruno decision because, of course, he was basically the vice captain before Ronaldo came back. I don't see giving Ronaldo the captaincy as giving it to a new player like it was with Maguire because, of course, Ronaldo's played many, many years at United anyway. So that, for me, would have been the way to go. But
I actually think it gives Bruno a bit more leadership, a bit more responsibility, and actually
and
improves
maybe
him.
levels up that dysfunctional Ronaldo-Bruno dynamic that sometimes happens as well.
I completely agree, yeah.
I'm totally open to it, Scott. Totally open to it. And we took the sting out of the game. There were times where I thought, well, you should have listened to Ronaldo because we're being sloppy again. But we took the sting out of the game better than we have had before when we had 2-0 up, obviously. But it wasn't exactly what I'd like to see at 2-0 up, but it was better.
Yeah, I'd agree. But having seen us throw a 2-0 lead away a few days before, leopards don't change their spots that quickly. And as soon as, one turn of pace here and there, and you think they're in, and oh God, here we go again.
Yes.
De Gea had a few good saves at 2-0 to keep it 2-0.
He did. And he had a very good day today as well, David De Gea. He really did. You have to say he kept us in the game there. So massive.
They also had some shocking finishing, let's be honest.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But when the keeper stands up and he makes it difficult, makes you wait, makes you guess, makes you second guess yourself, then it puts doubts in your mind. So you have to credit Dave for all of that part of it as well. And but yeah, the subs started warming up. Harry Maguire was getting his socks up. Marcus Rashford getting ready as well. And we were all eyes as to who they would replace. And as it happened, it was Mason Greenwood and Cristiano Ronaldo who got hooked. A bit of a surprise there, Ben. Scott.
I don't think so. After Villa, he actually said he was thinking about changing it to 3 at the back to try and shore it up and keep the points. And so, having a few days later being 2-0 up, I think he had to do the same thing, or not the same thing, but actually had to do it this time in order to try and keep those points.
Well, I think when you say in your pre-match interview that we ran out of steam after 70 minutes against Villa, you kind of go, well, you could have made some subs, mate, couldn't you? Yeah. So when you say that before the game, if you're 2-0 up again, you have to make those subs. So he set it up for himself there.
He did, but at least he carried it out.
He did, yeah. So Rashford on for Greenwood, Maguire on for Ronaldo, and we know Ronaldo well, don't we? We've watched him for years. We've watched him strop, and we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, 100%. And that's what you get with Ronaldo. Even back in the day when he was coming through, you'd still get that from him. So It's nothing new. And
he's also just come back from a hip injury or spinal injury. And, you might not need to play, 90 minutes today.
This was part of my rationale in saying give Ronaldo the skippership, because what I thought is give him the captaincy and then start dropping him sometimes and bringing him off sometimes, but use the armband as a kind of a signal that you are my main man, but I do need to look after you as well. And today, Ralph's looking after him. He wasn't fit for Saturday, so how fit could he have been for today if he wasn't even on the bench at the weekend? So he's carrying a little bit of a knot, maybe. He's taken him out of the firing line, and that's what a good manager does, right? They get themselves, they do the decision they want to do. As fans, we're thinking, oh, you're making it difficult for yourself here. You're 2-0 up. This is going to be the headline. But he was justified for his actions, and he got away with it this time. So we did get that third goal, Scott. 77th minute, McTominay again battling in midfield. Bruno rampaging again. And this time, Marcus Rashford with an emphatic finish high into the net. It was Academy Central tonight, wasn't it? Elanga, Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, just the way United like it. You beauty 3-0.
Yeah, and not even a finish like that could put a smile on his face instantly. It was only when everyone was so happy for him that he finally put a smile on his face. But it was a really important goal, that, and what a fantastic finish. It shows what he can do so effortlessly.
It was belting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
It was superb. And you know what I loved is I loved Rangnick getting over to Ronaldo. And he did that thing that, your blooming grandma does when she's giving you, I had a bit of a tough grandma, and she used to blooming grab my sleeve when she was telling me something. She wasn't telling me off. She was just telling me something she wanted me to listen to. And did you notice Rangnick had a bit of Ronaldo's sleeve there?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was grabbing it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Ronaldo...
Well, because Ronaldo's been in his ear going, why'd you take me off? I could have scored. And then he's like... Fine. Yeah, exactly. Firstly, he needed some minutes. You needed some minutes on the bench. And
we've won. You always say it's about the team. Shut up.
I hope he just said, listen, just trust me.
You know what I loved? Is then... So he did that, and then they cut away to the game. When they cut back to the bench, Ronaldo's not sitting on the floor again. He's back in a seat, right?
Well, I think because Matic should just come off. So Matic was sitting on that seat behind him.
He had a spare... He still had a spare seat. He chose to sit on the floor.
He didn't want to sit next to Martial. That was the free seat. That was Rashford's seat. But you know what? It was. I liked when he came off and he was throwing his. He threw his jacket down. He didn't. And Donny's sitting there and he's like, "At least you got to play, mate." I mean, he was sitting here for a year and a half. I can't even get on the pitch.
And then he realised it was cold and popped his jacket on, didn't he? So, look, all good to see. I don't mind it at all. Well managed from Rangnick. No problems with Ronaldo. He wants to score. He wants to win. We kept him hungry for the weekend. All good with that. Dalot, cracking bit of defending up the other end, wasn't it? And like I say, he does get skinned sometimes, but he also brings different sides to the game as well. So, I'm liking Dalot these days.
Yeah, he always puts a shift in.
He does. And he seems to have a good spirit, doesn't he?
He does.
The kind of spirit you want. And remember when Mourinho signed him, he was giving it the large one, how great Dalot was going to be and what prospect he was potentially. So, maybe we're finally seeing it.
He won the penalty in Paris, playing on the right wing.
He did indeed.
Yeah.
He did indeed. And then, look, we had a little bit of a scare at the end. A long throw with 5 minutes on the clock. A pinball in the box. And there was Tony to fire the goal in. The clean sheet. Unfortunately, Scott, I was screaming for the clean sheet a couple of minutes earlier. I was begging for a clean sheet, like almost cheering on the clean sheet. Like back in the day, remember when we all wanted Schmeichel to keep a clean sheet? And unfortunately, we just couldn't get it done.
No chance. But, the first thing I thought was, here we go. They got 7 or 8 minutes here, left of the 90. I was worried that we were going to... I was worried we were going to throw it away again, pal. That's what these last few months have done to scar me.
I was not worried at all there, Scott. Come on. I know the commentators were trying to ham it up, but
they had a corner a few minutes later, and you're like, God, if they score from this,
come on. Are they worse at corners than us? I think they're worse at defending than us.
Definitely not.
We're up to about 110 without a goal now, aren't we?
Yeah. That set piece coach. Him and Lee Grant. I mean, they've got it made in the shade, don't they?
Him, Lee Grant, Matter, and Darren Fletcher playing hungry in the corner.
Matter's just the mascot. Yeah, I heard someone say he could be in Fred the Red, and no one would know the difference.
But the thing is, Fletcher. I'm only joking. I love Darren Fletcher. I think it's simply that they thought Carrick was going to stay, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And then Carrick left, and there was like, oh God, I mean, everyone's left now. And we actually need someone who knows what's going on in this squad.
Yeah,
other than Mike Phelan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So but I always think it's a weird look when I see Darren Fletcher on the bench.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as when he was on the sideline at Chelsea, was it? Isn't that our director of football or our sporting director?
He's in the bench, Scott. He's on the bench when we're playing. He's in the blooming... Sometimes you see the winning team in training. Ronaldo says winning team, and you look at all the players, and then who's that in the corner? Director of football with his arms up in the air. He's just been playing.
He's putting the cones out.
No, he's playing in the 5-a-side.
Of course he is.
I'm not joking. He literally is. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And then he's there when we sign a player. He's
That's
on the
why we're not
bench.
signing a midfielder, because Darren Fletcher's playing midfield in training.
Mate, honestly, he'll be driving the bus back tonight. Like, the guy is everywhere. Honestly, ever since he's got rid of the runs, he's everywhere, isn't he?
Good luck to him.
Unbelievable. But look, we held on, Scott. We weathered the storm, and Bruno Fernandes should really. I tell you what, this was a big blot on his copybook because he was so good. But he was in again, clean in, and an absolutely shocking chip straight into the arms, waiting arms of the goalkeeper. It was as bad as it gets.
The Panenkas, yeah, that was.
I thought Fred's was bad that other week against Chelsea. That was
bad.
better than Bruno's.
No, Fred's was worse.
Was it? Maybe.
Yeah, because there was something on the line.
That's
At least here, 3-1 up. If it was 1-1 and he had done that, it would have been unforgivable. But
Come on, Bruno. It wasn't so long ago. You were begging for a goal or an assist, and now you're blooming.
No, but don't compare it with Fred's, because Fred's was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Bruno's was pretty bad as well, but Fred's was. But you know what? Every now and then he gives a ball away, but then a minute later he wins it back, and he tries so hard. But he's a great squad player, great midfielder to bring on at 65 minutes.
Yeah.
But,
or Fred and McTominay, they're both the kind of player who you don't want them making those boobies close to your own goal. You want it in the centre of midfield. You want their energy getting in there, attacking, breaking stuff up. As I've said, they're both attack dogs. Those are your attack dogs, and we need someone in there who knows the position and can last longer than 60 minutes. Because that was the problem against Villa. We've got a guy in there who's our best defensive midfielder, but he can only last 60 minutes. So
every couple of weeks.
Exactly.
So Rangnick said before the game he's going to play 2 6s, 1 8, and 3 up top. Who were playing the 6s? Sorry, he played 1 6 and 2 8s. Who was playing the 6?
Well,
was it Fred or McTominay? I couldn't tell. They were kind of just playing hybrid versions of it.
If I'd say one, I'd probably say McTominay.
Okay,
but it was they were mixing and matching just like usual. But they weren't as flat next to each other as they were under Ollie, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, it's been easier to get the ball out of defence the last few weeks.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
Well, because we got 2 fullbacks that the opposition. Wan-Bissaka is the one, right? Where the game plan is, as soon as it goes to Wan-Bissaka, you press.
Yeah, and we haven't got centre backs dithering on the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we take that weak link out of our team, and suddenly we're a lot harder to beat. Yeah, amazing.
Look, Scott, we got it done. We've got the 3 points in the bag. Like I said, Spurs won late in their game. They were 2-1 down, 1-3-2.
Yeah, Bergwijn could have got sent off on 93 minutes for pushing over one of the Leicester defenders. And then he scored 2 in the next 2 minutes. Unbelievable.
Bagged a brace. So that means we stay 7th. But we're only 2 points off 4th, and we've got a game in hand. And the 4th position team is West Ham. So, keep your knickers on tonight, guys. And we're 3 off Chelsea if we win our games in hand, in 3rd.
Yeah.
So it is not as bad as everyone blooming thinks.
That was still 21 points behind City, and it's not even February.
Yeah, but we started the season with the manager who's losing.
But that's what I mean. Just every so often you see I know, but every so often you see the bigger picture.
Yeah, but we have to start from now.
A few months ago when we signed Ronaldo, you didn't expect come February we were going to be 21 points behind the leaders.
Well, I expected we will either be challenging for the title or Ollie would be sacked. So I've got one of them.
So that's certainly both were.
That's exactly what I thought when Ronaldo signed. Remember, I said it on the pod. I said this will basically, it will either be we challenge or Ollie gets sacked. But yeah, we have to draw a line in the sand, Scott. We have to start again, because if we keep on carrying the scars over from yesteryear, we're going to go another 26 years and 36 years, and it's tedious, mate. It's rubbish being out of the elite of the game, and there's no reason for us to be. There's no reason. We've got the cash. We've got the blooming everything we need. We just need to step by step get back there and not be so hysterical. So I think, yeah, just see what happens, mate. That's what I'd say.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I said, all right, I'll take your word for it.
But it's much more fun anyway, right? It's much more fun believing that it might be all right, because otherwise it's going to be a pretty sorry next 20 years, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, mate. Listen, I think we might finally have ended the run tonight. Who's your man of the match?
Man of the match tonight is David De Gea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we haven't ended the run.
Well,
It's De Gea or a goal scorer. That's the run.
Well, I mean,
I'm going Bruno tonight.
Well, Bruno got my little one, 2 assists. Yeah.
Yeah, no goals.
What? No goals? That's all right. Got 2 assists, mate.
Yeah, I know, but it's the goal. It's the run is the goals, right?
He just got 2 a couple of days ago.
Yeah, but I'm not giving him man of the match for 2 days ago. I'm giving him man of the match for today.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's the run? Because you're just trying to break the run. Bollocks. De Gea was the best player on the pitch. Without De Gea, we would have been 3-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I mean, this run you're talking about is the fact that 9 out of our 11 players on any given day play rubbish, and one of them is De Gea, and he plays well, and the other one usually scores the goal. I mean, this is just.
I know that's true. Yeah, I reckon I'll give it to Bruno. I think he was the. I think just the energy he brings when he's in that mood makes us into a team that wins the matches, right? I think he was the difference in us winning the match. You might say David De Gea kept us in the match, but then I think Bruno won it. So, and
I'm going to give that bag of Haribo that you always talk about. I'm going to give that to Marcus Rashford.
Okay,
so let's
just
cheer
to try
him
and put
up.
A smile on his face.
Yeah, come on, mate. Have a star mix. Got some fried eggs and cola bottles in there.
Can't be that bad, mate. You're playing for United.
Mate, wearing number 10, making £250,000 a week.
You're a blooming doctor without doing a degree.
You're driving a new Mercedes every week.
You're going to be a blooming knight of the realm one day.
I tell you, it's just with great power comes great responsibility, and when you're feeding 50 million people, it has weighs down on you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I do think that the timeline does add up. If you look, and we mentioned it at the time, it's just such a strange one. I never would have guessed it out of Rashford. I never would have thought he would lose his way like this. Of course, I thought maybe he wouldn't fulfill his potential, on the field physically, but in terms of attitude and that energy, I thought that was a given.
Yeah, me too. And the passion for United, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best things about promoting academy graduates is you think that they're going to give their all for the shirt.
Yeah.
And when he can't, a couple of weeks ago, that rebound in front of the Stretford end when he didn't try and get on the end of it, and then didn't even look bothered that he didn't miss that he missed the awful, opportunity. It was really difficult to watch.
Yeah. And yeah, even if things are bad in your regular life, then if you're a United fan, then you've got the perfect opportunity to run free for 2 hours at the weekend. Yeah. That's your release. Enjoy it. So yeah, don't know what has happened there.
I mean, worked for Ryan Giggs for all those years, didn't it?
Say that again.
Worked for Ryan Giggs all those years. Everyone thought he had the best life. Then he stopped playing, and it's like, God, your life's actually really bad. Yeah. You're doing awful things.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Look, mate. Anything else to add on that 3 points in West London tonight?
No, very happy with the 3 points. We got a big game. Or we got a little break, don't we? We got Moisey coming up on the weekend. I know that.
We do.
But then we got an FA Cup game on. Is it on the Munich day? They've changed it to the 4th.
It's on the Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good game. Moisey's coming to town this weekend.
Moisey. Well, yeah, it's always worrying. We don't want to get our pants pulled down by Moisey, do we?
Definitely not.
And he's got him playing again, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, they lost to Leeds scum on the weekend, but
they did, didn't they?
He's certainly got him playing better than us.
Yes, but look, we play them, Scott. I'm talking about us being 2 points behind them. We play them, we leapfrog them, and then what? We're worrying about Spurs and Arsenal. Pull yourselves together, guys. I don't care how rubbish we are. We're not as rubbish as those teams.
But Spurs got 4 games in hand. 4 games in hand, they're ahead of us.
Spurs would be ahead of us by 2 or 3 points if they win all their games and we win all our games, I believe.
Oh, what? Are Spurs not ahead of us? Spurs are behind us.
No, Spurs are ahead of us.
But they've got 4 games in hand.
They haven't got 4 games in hand, have they?
They do.
On Chelsea, but not us.
Oh, okay. On Chelsea, all right.
So we've got 2 games on Chelsea, haven't we?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. if you're worrying about Arsenal and Spurs, then you need to take a long, hard look at yourself,
Not
guys.
worried about Arsenal
and West Ham as well.
Well, I mean, mate, you know the table doesn't lie. West Ham have been playing.
Yeah. So
West Ham have beaten us twice this season.
Half a season,
we beat them
with a manager when we were losing 5 and 4-0 against everybody. We're still halfway through the season, like a few points behind. Look, I wanted the title. I'm not happy with this, Scott. But since Ollie's gone, the new target is obviously we've got to get in the Champions League again, and we've obviously got to win the Champions League this year. Those are the two targets. And
since Ollie's gone, that could be a good song. Yeah, that's your new song, isn't it?
Yes, mate. Oh, I just want us to move forward and give it a chance.
We are moving forward. The opposition fans aren't screaming Ollie's at the wheel anymore. And we've turned that corner of embarrassment and shame. So yeah,
and I only live around the corner.
Here we go. But Donny's still on the bench, so not everything changes.
Exactly. Listen, mate. Before we call it a day, let's have a little quick chat about the Fantasy Premier League. I know you're loving that this year, aren't you, pal?
Not really. No, I'm awful with the deadlines, pal.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting there are Friday games, so yeah, awful. And then you don't touch it for a few weeks, then it just all goes out, doesn't it?
I had to take a long hard look in the mirror. I missed a couple of deadlines too. Got away with it.
Talking about how many Scousers in your team?
Only one.
Oh, I've already got one because the other ones are the African nations.
Have you've probably got you've got a few in there. You've got a few naughty ones in there as well, Scott.
No, I don't.
But anyway, first of all, we have to tip our hats to Ben because he captained Bruno, didn't he, this week?
Oh, good, nice.
So he has
2 goals, 2 assists.
I have to say, Scott, an hour before the deadline. I wish I was as bad as you with the deadlines. An hour before the deadline, I switched my captains. I switched my captain from Bruno to Cristiano Ronaldo because I had a feeling Bruno was going to catch light, but logically I just couldn't justify it. When you look through the season at how many goals Ronaldo scored and assisted compared to Bruno, logically it was a wild decision, but it would have been beautiful. The thing is, though, Scott, in Fantasy Premier League, you always regret, don't you? The tendency is to regret what you don't have. I still signed Bruno, so I got 23 points or 24 points, so I'm not complaining. But I think, Ben has done a whopper this game week. I think he's up near the 90s. My switch of captaincy has cost me a century, so I think I'm kicking about the high 80s, I believe.
I think I got 12 points last week at TC.
Dear me.
Yeah, I've had Ronaldo as my captain for the last month.
Who?
Ronaldo as my captain for the last month, and I haven't. I've been so busy, I haven't changed it. And then I changed it a few days ago, and I had 4 injured players on my team, so I had to take them all out. I took an 8-point loss, and that was after I'd played my wild card a few weeks ago. So, but you know what? Haven't taken Mason Greenwood out of my team all season, and he scored a goal today, so I'm chuffed about that.
There you go, mate. Loyalty. See that? Yeah. See where that gets you.
Love that kid.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, it is tight at the top. I think Smilling Coast Reds are still top. They are strong. They've got that gap, and they're just keeping that gap at the top at the moment. So it's hard to claw him back. But I believe I'll move up to third.
What about the gap at the bottom? Am I still second bottom? Or have I reached the depths?
I don't think you're bottom yet. You can't get relegated, mate. One of the hosts can't get relegated. It's the rules.
I have to take a year off.
Especially the only one in the game who hasn't played his subs as well. Unbelievable behaviour.
What do you mean I haven't played my subs?
your fantasy subs.
What do you mean?
Well, the pay-in.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that, did I?
I didn't have the heart to ask you for it after your start.
And you've still not got the heart, so let's keep it at that. Yeah.
By the way, that's not coming out of my pocket. The winner's getting 50 quid less. And I'll give you Scott's number, right? Anyway, anything else to add, pal?
No, not about football, not about cricket, not about Formula One. The NFL playoffs have been fantastic. I Hope anyone's enjoying them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like a bit of NFL, do you?
Yeah, I do. You know what? I like watching something that I'm not so emotionally invested in, and I can actually just enjoy the game.
It's like a rest almost, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like having a holiday away from sports by watching something other than United or Premier League.
You are right. When there's a United game on, like say today, for instance, I wake up and then I'm nervous about the match later, and I'm thinking about it. And there's it's not just entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, yeah, you're right. You can watch, like I like to watch the combat sports particularly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have my favourites. Of course, there's some I like more than others, but it's not a massive part of my life like United has been. Right? It's, United's our families and our our childhoods. There's so many ties into our lives. It's impossible not to get over the top about it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you can watch another sport and you don't really care if the team loses as long as it's a good game. You don't really care if your fighter gets knocked out, what have you, because it's entertaining. But when it's United, it's not. It's emotionally draining, and there can only be one outcome that will allow you to not ruin the rest of your weekend.
Yeah. Well, at least we got it today, mate.
But even watching you watch other teams play Premier League football, and you're like, God, if we were in a better position, we could be doing something here. So you're still watching that with a tinge of regret or a tinge of anger.
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to the pod wherever you listen, over at Spotify, Apple Podcast. Keep those 5-star reviews coming too. Hit the 5-star review button on Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review if you can on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're signed up and subscribe to our Instagram at United100 Podcast, Twitter at United100Pod, and as I say, vintageunitedshirts.com. Use your 20% discount, icons100 on the artwork, 10% discount on the shirts, United100, and let me know what your best United moment or the moment you'd most like to see, I suppose, turned into artwork. Fergie's last title might be a nice one.
Yeah. Or the first one as well, when he was dancing on the pitch with Peter Schmeichel.
Oh,
remember that?
Me.
I was there that night, May 3rd, 93.
Schmeichel's pretending to throw the crown into the crowd. What a joker!
Yeah.
Pulled our leg again, hasn't he, Peter?
I saw a picture. I think it was United Instagram. They posted a picture of Dion Dublin's best moments, and it was a picture of him, Darren Ferguson, Lee Sharp with the first Premier League trophy, and I thought, God, those three got those tiny little trophies. But it was
he wore the number 7 a fair few times as well. Big old Dion.
He did.
He did, yeah. So yeah, get those moments in. As I say, DM them over, email, whatever you want. We'll be back after that West Ham game. Moisey back in town. I think it'll be me and Ben, though, Scott. So we won't have your impressions, unfortunately. I think you do a better Scottish accent than me, as you should with your heritage.
Aye.
Is that all you're giving me tonight?
That's all I'm giving you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Listen, thanks for joining us again, everyone. And I will catch you after the game at the weekend. Lovely to have you back, Scott.
Thanks for having me, TC.
Take care. Cheerio, Reds.
Ta-ra.